Welcome to Defiance of Silence. I'm Valerie, your host, a veteran, nurse, and a survivor. This is a space for sacred witnessing, for stories often carried quietly, and for the people who hold them, for survivors, healers, and witnesses. Here we stand against the silence that isolates and honor the silence that allows us to truly be heard. Some episodes in this season will focus on sexual trauma and forensic realities. Others will explore moral injury, grief, and the cost of caring deeply in a world that can wound. You're invited to listen at your own pace, pause when you need to, and take what serves you and leave the rest. A gentle note before we begin. This podcast includes conversations about trauma and abuse. Please listen with care and honor your well-being. Thank you for being here and witnessing today's conversation. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Defiance of Silence. I have a guest for us today. Her name is Ayana. I cannot wait for you to witness this conversation. So thank you for being here to witness this. Ayana and I go back to, I think, 2021-ish, something like that. And she is an amazing human being, first of all. But let me tell you about her. She's a Navy veteran. She's got a family. She's been a caregiver. She's an author. She's a therapist. She's just encompasses all things resilient and survivor and beyond. I honestly don't have all the words, but she is founder of peer support services. Like, she has done all the things and has all the wisdom. So I can't wait for her to drop some of that on us today. So welcome, Ayana.
Thank you so much for having me, Val. Great to see
Oh,
you as always.
it's a pleasure to see your beautiful face too. I wish that our witnesses could see you, but they
Yeah, because
can't.
I went and put on makeup and everything, y'all, but that's okay.
I have to admit, I forgot to tell her that this is not a video podcast. And I'm sitting here in my pajamas. I'm not even lying. This is my bed
Same.
head and
Hey, do
pajamas.
you see?
So
I was
I
like, I'll put on makeup, but I'm keeping on my storm shirt because this is okay. This is my day. I am
yes,
not in the office.
100%. So it's a nice and gloomy kind of Sunday afternoon here in Texas. It's been kind of gross over here in Houston, but I'm not letting that
Mhm.
affect me today. But I am in my pajamas and I'm not mad about it. So here we are in our pajamas coming to you just to have a conversation. So
Mhm.
before we do that, as usual, witnesses, let's just get together and get a little bit of grounding here before we get ready to listen. So close your eyes if you can, if you're safe to do so. Take a breath in, just a gentle breath. Nothing special. Just go with what your body's already doing. Soften those shoulders, unclench the jaw, and let it drop. Notice one point of contact, your feet, your hands, your seat. Let that remind you that you're safe here, you're welcome here, and you do not have to hold everything right now. Just be present and witness. Let's begin.
All
Welcome.
right.
Okay. So
All right.
tell us what you're doing now. Let's start with that.
Oh boy. I am doing too much. That's what I'm doing. I am. Since you've met me, I have finished school, so I am now an LPC associate in Texas. So Texas, lovely Texas, does require us to do 3,000 hours
Wow, that's a lot.
or we are fully licensed. Yes, yes. 1,500 have to be direct with clients. I am happy to report I just passed 600. Woohoo! They give us
Wow.
5 years to do this because
Wow.
it's that much, and they say we have to do it in minimum 18 months. So even if I decided to do too much and I finished early, it wouldn't matter.
Mm.
So that has taken up most of my time. So even when you mentioned Reach Peer Support Services, to be honest, that's kind of been on hold.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I'm busy. I'm tired.
Hmm. Hmm.
I mean, I still get phone calls, emails, or people reaching out, and then, I refer them to whom I know would help or whatever information I have. And that's how I still help in that capacity because I am still a certified mental health peer specialist for the state of Texas.
Awesome.
So, for those of us who do not even know what in the world that is, a certified mental health peer specialist is a person with lived experience that is actively in recovery because recovery is not linear and we advocate, we help people. Basically, what I love to do was to, for one, educate people on what they could do, especially us military veterans and their families, letting them know about all their benefits, how to get through certain things, how to deal with certain issues. Um, Mental health peer specialists can be employed by hospitals and prisons and things like that to help. It's like a liaison. And let's be real, I don't think most people will prefer to speak to somebody who really understands what the experience is
Right.
like.
Right.
You can't get that from a book.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah.
And you did
So
some coaching too for peer specialists, right? You were helping
yes.
other
Hmm.
like mentors and peers become peer
Hmm.
specialists. I think
I
that's
was.
incredible. It's
Yeah,
incredible. You've authored a book.
I did.
What is that
And
book about? I love it.
I, I appreciate you mentioning it. I wrote a book, coincidentally, and today is December 7th. Well, I wrote a book in honor of my mom, who is I'm going out to celebrate slash cry my eyes out in a
Mm-hmm.
few days in her honor, because that was the day that she took her last breath.
Oh.
Um, I wrote a book, and it's funny because it looks like a kid's book. It's called Mika and the Mystery of the Treasure Trust. Please do not go on Amazon to buy it, just FYI. I'll make sure to put a link up. That's a whole thing because there's been,
Mm,
yeah.
mm.
Anyway, so that's a whole nother. I got it. I'll just let it go like
Yeah.
that.
Oh, that's
Anyway,
unfortunate.
well, yeah, it's all good. Well, the purpose of the book is to educate people and have an easier way to have a conversation about a conversation that most families avoid, and that is of aging and um, wills and trusts. So Mika and the Mystery of the Treasure Trust is really from her eyes, seeing all of the family drama and how once we get things in place, we can actually spend most of our time enjoying our family member instead of fighting over
Yeah.
possessions and people's feelings and all that crap. Let's just get it done with so we can focus on the time that we have together.
Yeah, that's important. And you're giving people like a real hands-on way to understand it because let's be honest, I don't understand all of that stuff. But having done
Hmm.
some hospice work in the past, I have seen firsthand what happens when you don't have
Yeah.
those things in place. So I think it's
Hmm.
beautiful. There's just so many parts of you that you give to different parts of the world, and it's just beautiful. But I know that getting to this place now and going through school and all the things you've had to persevere to get to this point didn't come easy for you. So um you get I think people get into the mental health space because we've struggled there. Like, right? I mean,
Hmm.
I personally don't know anyone who has not had mental health struggles, but there are only certain people that can work through their struggles and then give back and not continuously be re-traumatized and triggered. Not that that doesn't happen at times, but
Hmm.
to be able to hold space for others and work through your own stuff is
Hmm.
powerful. And I don't think that a lot of people understand what that takes. And I know
Hmm.
you resemble that so well. And I've always looked up to you for that.
Hmm.
First of all.
Appreciate it.
So when I met you, it was not in a good place. And you definitely have helped me to overcome some of those things too. So if you're comfortable, maybe tell us a little bit about your childhood and your upbringing and kind of how you became you.
Sure. Um, so I grew up in New York. I grew up in Brooklyn. I'm the firstborn of immigrants from the Caribbean, Jamaica, and the Bahamas. I'm the eldest of three. I grew up if you look up Brownsville in Brooklyn, it was a murder capital at one point.
Wow.
So, of course, my parents just being happy that they could afford a house, they didn't know or understand that, and they were just always working. So, a lot of good times when it came to friends, lots of not so great memories with other stuff there. I knew that I wanted to leave ASAP. I knew that I was the kid. I'm a big old nerd to this day. I was the kid who would cut school and go to the library and the museum. Like that's where I
Mm,
would be, right?
yeah.
Or later when I could work, I would cut school to go and make some money because that's just what I wanted to do. I wanted to travel, etc., etc. So the story of me getting into the Navy was funny just because I grew up with, I guess you could say body issues. I had very, very, very large breasts from very early on. And if you could just imagine what kind of things people would say to me, including women, it
Right.
was not fun to look like me. It was very hard. I used to try to wear the biggest clothes I could wear. I stopped playing sports. Um, people would say things, do things, touch me, try to touch me, et cetera, et cetera. So it was just a very ugly time. It's funny because I don't have any pictures from my teenage life. I don't have
Wow.
any. The only people who seem to have them are like friends and their family members, but I hated the way I looked so much. I have nothing to show that I even
Wow.
existed during that time. Nothing.
Wow.
Right? So,
Yeah. Yeah.
so yeah. So I wanted to join the Marines because I wanted to be, you know who I wanted to be? You remember that movie Aliens?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, the sequel. And you
You
remember
want,
yeah, man, remember the badass Marine and she had a big old
yeah.
gun and she had a
Yeah,
headband.
she
That's who I
did.
wanted to be so bad. Yeah.
I
I
love
was like,
that.
I want to be her so bad. And plus I wanted to join because I was thinking travel, be a badass, and
Mm,
they said that they would give me a breast reduction.
yeah.
Well, anyway, I went and took the ASVAB. I hope it's still called the ASVAB. I'm
I
telling
think it
myself,
is. Yeah, I think it
I don't
is.
even know. Everything's
Yeah, I think
changing,
it
right?
is. Yeah.
And the score I got was so high that everybody started treating me like a unicorn. And my recruiter apparently was talking smack about like
Mm.
I just got this girl, she's just scored like almost a perfect score in the ASVAB. And I was walking to the train station and one of the Navy recruiters came out and goes, "Hey, I'm just saying, if you come with us, there's a big bonus."
Ah,
You can get all that, but we're gonna give you a bonus. And
he said, "Skirt,
that's
I'm
that.
going to the Navy."
Yeah, yeah. So I joined as a nuclear machinist mate, which was extremely, extremely hard. So
Wow.
what I learned in the military was a lot more than what I learned in the books. It was a whole experience that has definitely changed my life. I mean, let's be real. We're here because we're talking as survivors. So
Yeah.
I will say that my first military assault was by that recruiter. And I didn't say anything because I just wanted to go. I was just like, you know what?
Oh
Let,
man.
let me just let me just get up out of here. I was thinking, oh, it's a New York thing. I just got to get up out of Brooklyn and then I'll be safe. Um, years later, right before I finally decided to not re-enlist anymore, there was another one. And this guy, apparently, he's still in the military. He's an officer and everything.
Oh,
And from what I understand, there's others.
I am sorry.
Yeah, I am and I'm not, if that's makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah, it does. It
Um,
does.
yeah, I listen, I've done a lot of work. Okay.
Hmm.
One of the things that I'm trained in now, I'm trained in EMDR, I'm certified in brain spotting. I'm working on more somatic experiencing modalities and IFS, all of those things. And it took me a long time to be able to even have a conversation like this without busting into tears.
Yeah.
So for me, this is a testament to just how much work I put into me.
Yeah. And thank you for saying that. That's why this space exists, because I think people that are part of this club, which I'm sorry if you are part of this club,
Hmm.
it's not one you want to be part of, but we're not alone in it. And to be able to say there is hope, and having people like you come on and share your story and say, I am resilient. I found ways to heal. It's not hopeless. It's not over. Um, gives others a chance to see that they can do it too. And sometimes I wonder, and maybe I'd love your thoughts on this.
Hmm.
Obviously when we're in the darkest of the darks. And there's, like you said earlier, it's not linear. Healing is not linear. There are hills and valleys, and you can do really good for a long time, but then other things open up, and you have to learn how to process and deal with those things. And
Mm-hmm.
um, it's not like we were videoing ourselves and having these conversations for everyone to witness and see. So I feel like
Mm-mm.
for myself, when I would hear stories like this, which were few and far between, to be honest, because I wasn't I wasn't privy to them. I wasn't hearing these stories. So it was like, I'm
Mm-hmm.
alone. I'm in this by myself. But to hear and see someone watching them go through the thick of it and like really going through it, you don't get to see that view. So it was hard for
Mm-hmm.
me to hear someone tell from this side of it and picture myself and go, yeah, but you don't
Mm-hmm.
know my story. Yeah, but you don't know what this is like for me. And that's not actually true. We do know what it's like. And that's why we
Mm-hmm.
can sit here and say, so we're not, to our witnesses that are listening, we're not saying all these things because we're so great. We're saying these things
Uh-uh.
because
Oh,
we've
baby.
just been there and done it. And we love you enough to be vulnerable to put our crap out there and say, like, look, this is what happened and this is where we are. And this is what was going on and this is how I got there. And sometimes it just sneaks up and bites you. Like you
Mm-hmm.
think you're good and then some stuff happens and
Oh,
then
yeah.
you get re-triggered, or you have things that you just realize are new that you've got to
Mm-hmm.
work through. And I've watched you do that and you've watched me do that. And it's
Yeah.
just, it's amazing. And it is a testament to the healing that we are capable of. Like our
Mm-hmm.
bodies are resilient, our minds are resilient. We just don't always know it. So
Yeah.
talk about that. Like how did you go from experiencing, military sexual trauma and then start a healing journey? Like what was that like, the in between? And that's the part that
Oh.
interests me
Oh.
because my in between, I hardly remember it, to be honest. So what was that like
Oh.
for you?
Oh, it was chaos. It was
Yeah.
absolute chaos. One of the things I also do, I'm an LCDC intern, so I help people with chemical dependency because I'm learning more and more that the reason why people do certain things is to give them a pseudo sense of being grounded, right? When we talk about our river or our window of tolerance, being hyper aroused all the time or hypo aroused or, going both is exhausting.
Yeah.
And when you do not have that mind and body connection that recognizes calm, it's like pretty much you got the smoke alarm on all day, every day. And with that being said, one of the things that I tell like my groups of my clients is that trauma changes your prescription. Everything I saw, everything I heard, it was distorted.
Mm.
So even when I was safe, I didn't know it. So I was doing things to ruin relationships, including the ones even with my kids, my husband, my people who wanted to be friends with me. I just never felt safe, and I wasn't in a place where I could recognize that. So it was very, very tumultuous. Um, I never told anybody while I was in the military. I straight up didn't think anybody would care. Look, I mean, come
Me
on. I
too.
mean,
Yeah.
uh, being real, right? I think
Yep.
they told me at the time I'm the eighth Black female in like that program ever, that to finish that program, which is exhausting. Straight up.
Right.
It's exhausting. So it's like then you have your family so proud of you, and then I don't want to tell them that, yeah, this is the cost of it.
Ooh.
And I come back to home and oh my God, she was Principal Helen Lear. She's passed away, but I mean the thickest Jewish accent. Oh my God, my daughter is back. She would get on the intercom. My daughter is back from the military. Everybody come meet her
I
and ask
love
her
it.
how it was hilarious. But it was so cool. So I just had all this kind of pressure on me, like, man, I don't want to tell them the truth
Right.
because
Right.
then who am I again and where am I going back to? You know?
Mm-hmm.
Like my normal was not very cool. I didn't know that until I left. So then when your options get open, your eyes get open to other possibilities, I'm like, well, let me go. I don't do I want to go back to the chaos I know, or do I want to have the possibility of less? So It was a whole lot of me having a hard time with anger. Everything I did came out as anger, no matter what I tried. And I ended up getting in trouble because of that. Somebody overheard me yelling at my youngest. Of course, nobody ever asks the story behind it. Not
Sure.
usually. They just, I'm in Coronado, California by this time. Like, we call it the Land of Oz because that's where some of the books were written in this super fancy place. And all they know is, oh, this person who doesn't look like most of the people in the neighborhood is yelling at her kids. Therefore, oh my God, danger, danger, danger. Well, the good thing about that is it ended up making me have to go to therapy. And I was blessed enough to get into the best therapist that I could ever have. I mean, I tried before, but this chick, she looked at me and she just, I came in head down, ready to hear about how much I'm a piece of crap and all this stuff because, yeah, tell me some more, right? Right? And she said, she was asking me some clarifying questions about what went down. She said, "Oh, you're not a bad mama, you're a tired mama."
Yeah.
And I was just like, I just remember crying because I just never heard that before. Like, no, I've never been validated.
Yeah.
And she earned my trust enough for me to tell her about a lot of stuff. And first off, she put us in contact with resources. So my youngest is on the spectrum. He's in his 20s now. He has what was diagnosed, they changed the diagnosis of high functioning Asperger's. And it's still hard, y'all. And it's frustrating when you do not have support nor any kind of knowledge or resources. So that was part of it. Then it was working on myself and working within my marriage. Because by this time, my husband, he kind of had it with me too. So I had to tell myself, all right, well, I'm fitting to be alone. And what I need to do is do whatever it takes to make sure that my kids don't want to not be around me too. So I had to do some drastic stuff. So that meant going to the VA, even though I absolutely hated it. It was so demeaning. So many times I've been either laughed at by staff members or you just not listen to it. At least at the time where I was going, let me just say that it was not a great experience. However, I did learn about peer supports. And so I started going to a peer-led group and it went very well. And by the end of that, when I was actually getting ready to move here, the leaders there were asking me if I was interested in becoming a peer because they said that the women were drawn to me. Didn't really take that seriously. Moved to Texas, my husband got out the military. Excuse me. So by this time, he and I are a lot better because I'm working on myself. However, I'm going to keep this momentum up. I'm looking for stuff. So everywhere I go, matter of fact, because of the Travis Manning Foundation, me joining them in San Diego, every time I move, I look for the nearest Travis Manning Foundation. I look for nearest Team Red, White, and Blue, um, just to make sure that I have social supports because I didn't want to put everything on my husband, and I need the help to get physically active for the times that I'm, in a down spiral. That just led to a whole bunch of networking because, San Antonio ends up being Military City, USA. So, I learned about the Pink Berets. That's how I met you, Val.
Yep. Yep.
Um, Woven. There were so many, so many. And my thing is, you remember that song? I don't know if you watched the first Zootopia,
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
the animals. Okay, so Shakira, I love Shakira. She had this song, "Try Everything," and that's
Yeah.
that's my motto when it comes to my health. Try everything. I don't
I
care
would say that's
what it
true about
is.
you. You've
Let's
always
go.
got something cool to share. I love it. I
Oh
love
yeah,
it.
honey. Listen, this chick from Brooklyn was signing up for surfing, and it was so funny because everybody was like, "Are you sure you want this kind?" Like, hell yeah, get on my way,
You've
right? And
jumped out of
so
an airplane. I've seen
I
the
jumped
footage
out of
of
an
you jumping out of an
airplane.
airplane.
Well, when you say jump, it was
Or
pushed.
pushed. Pushed. I got offered that trip and I did not go. I did not. I'm still working on that.
I was like, I told him, I said, I had the whole conversation. Look at here, we're gonna fight, just so you know. I want to go, but I don't. So you're gonna feel a lot of restraint, and it's nothing personal. It's just you know, I'm gonna, yeah. But once we're there, I'm gonna be holding on to you very tightly because I'm scared.
Hmm.
Okay. So just being honest. Yeah, everything, honey. That was from Oscar Mike when Pink Berets linked up with Oscar Mike. So that experience was incredible. Going to that house, being amongst those people, and just the experience and the things that we did. It was, that's what I do. I try to experience things. Oh my gosh, Outward Bound, which for the record, y'all, we get two free trips in our lifetime. I've taken one. I'm kind of holding on to this last one. I went and spent a week in Joshua Tree. That's what Joshua Tree. And I came back different. I started connecting with nature more, talking to my higher power and learning from people. And I feel like one of the reasons why it's so easy for me to try different things is because I'm not worried about what you think. I
Yeah,
don't care.
it takes some time to arrive to that. My
It's
husband
a
and I were
wonderful
just
place to
talking
be,
about
though.
this. We were talking
Oh,
about
it's
this
so
last night.
wonderful.
I said, I don't know if it's because I'm getting older and I don't care, or
I
if
don't
it's
care.
just growth or both. And my husband said, I
All of
don't
the above.
care. All of it. It's just
Exactly.
like I think about
Mm-mm.
how I used to care so much about what people would think and being judged. And obviously, there's parts of me that still worry about that. There's parts of all of us, right? There is going to be that protective part that's like, don't do that. You're going to be judged, or they're
Mhm.
going to think ill of you. But guess what? Every time I've allowed myself to be vulnerable, I have not
Mhm.
encountered I've never encountered anything that killed me. Okay. I'm still
Mhm.
here. And it's just beautiful to hear you talk about trying everything and having these different experiences. So it sounds like you really had an opportunity to be witnessed by others and
Mhm.
kind of unearth all the trauma that you had. So what was that like for you when you started to really look at your own trauma? Because at some point you started going to school too. So you're going to school
Oh,
and you're dealing
okay.
with your own stuff.
Yeah. So how did that start? It was around COVID that I said, you know what? I talked to my husband. He was cool with it. I stopped working and I started to reach peer support services, got certified as a peer specialist, of course, on my own because I just could never get a job that would help me. So I just always
Yeah.
had to do these things on my own. Um, when I went to a retreat with Camp Shield, another great organization, I met other MSC survivors. And during that first time I went, I also met, they had a doctor on staff, and she said the same thing. She goes, "Have you thought about being a therapist?" I was like, "Are you kidding?" I was like, "I'm too jacked up." She goes, "Baby, we all messed up, right? What are you talking about?"
Hmm.
But she, again, because she said that I seem to know how to help people, like, just calm. I was never trying to say, hey, go do this. I just always could sense when somebody just, hey, is it okay if I give you a hug or can I just sit with you? I just naturally did that. Um, and I have a picture of them literally putting me in a headlock because they wanted me to go to school. So when I graduated, I put before and after, like
It's
when
amazing.
people believe in you so much, they got you gonna go to school, you gonna be our therapist, right?
That's fantastic.
And
That
what
is
was so cool is
fantastic.
the other picture of that I ended up flipping it on the doctor because she came to my graduation, so I put her in a headlock. I'm like, ha ha,
Oh, that is
tables turned. It was
fantastic.
so fun.
That's so
Again,
fun.
that goes go back to not caring about what people think. Because here's the thing, nobody who's doing better than you is going to judge you in a negative way. They're
Man,
just
say
not.
that again. Yes.
They're not. I
Yes.
don't. Let me tell
Yes.
you something. The way I dance, like for real. Listen, I deal with a lot of heart heavy work. I just buried my mom. The way I do not care, and I will take advantage of any dance that I see. And oh my gosh, we were on a trip to Cuba, and it was funny. We were on a boat ride, and they stopped to give us a chance to go in the water, and all these women were like, "Oh, I'm not gonna get my hair wet. I'm not gonna do that." And all you heard was "Cannonball." I was like, "Look, okay. I don't know how much life you got. I don't know how much life I got, but what I'm not gonna do is worry about what you're thinking about me while I go cannonball in the water in Cuba or
Man, that's
anywhere else.
amazing. And
I don't
let's be
care."
real. Let's be real. Nobody's thinking about the fact that you cannonballed in the water because everyone's absorbed in their own selves. They're worrying about
Exactly.
themselves. And if anybody thought anything, they probably thought, man, I wish I was that free and didn't
A-
care. You know,
And you
so
know
like
what?
once you get a hold of
Yep,
that, that changes the perspective. Like
everything.
I love that. And I could just see you doing that too. That's incredible. That's
You've met me.
incredible. Yeah, girl, one of my favorite things about you and what I remember from being around you with the Pink Berets too was you gave us a talk and you spoke to the group and it was just so moving and so motivating and just saying like and you shared so vulnerably and you told us about, your experiences and then you ended it with like, what's your mixtape? Like, what song do you want to dance to? And I've never
Hmm.
forgot that. And you said, create a mixtape for you. And I have a playlist that's
Yeah,
my,
I love it.
mixtape that, you said you carry a lot of heavy things. Let's talk about that too.
Hmm.
Like, you carry heavy things.
Hmm.
Um, I carry heavy things in some of the work that I do as well, being a forensic nurse. And there's just different aspects of
Hmm.
hearing people's stories and even
Yeah.
doing this podcast and being a therapist, you carry things that aren't yours to carry and you have to move those things through. So talk
Hmm.
about what that looks like for you.
Okay. I have a couple of things I do. First of all, like I said, whether it's I'm used, I have to be honest, even if I was at work right now, like seeing somebody birthday, I'd probably have on a cartoon shirt anyway, because that's who I am. That's part of me. I do believe in having things that are very close to nature. I believe in multicultural counseling. So music is a huge part of my culture. Like I said, Caribbean, I'm about to find out what my African ancestry is. So there's a lot of drumming, and drumming is a
Yes.
great way to get in contact with your vagus nerve.
Mm-hmm.
Dancing. Think about the fact that dancing is bilateral stimulation. You're getting to both sides of the brain um, to help ground all that singing that people would do in community. All that was healing energy. It's not so therapy doesn't always have to be one-on-one sitting down with somebody and telling your deepest, darkest. Part of therapy and that renewal and it's funny if any of my clients do hear this podcast, they're gonna wince because they know how I feel about the word resilience because I'm kind of over it. I use transilience quite a bit. I prefer transilience. It's about, moving that energy and turning it into something else because in my experience, resilience has usually been the catalyst for you telling me how much I can take, so you're going to give me some more. And
Man,
what you're not going to
yeah. Yeah.
is tell
Yeah.
me how strong I am, so you're going to keep giving me stuff or doing more than. No, we're not going to do that. So I refuse. Um, yeah, taking, music. I mean, I literally, these are my ankle bells. I walk around, I try to be music as I'm walking around my house. I finally succumbed to TikTok and got me a vibration plate, and I love it.
Did
A
you?
vibration pad, I do. It reminds me a lot of this is thing you can find on YouTube called tension release extra no, trauma release exercises, which I got turned on to while I was caregiving for my mom. And without that, I couldn't even sleep. So there are times that you can do things and let your body tremor and vibrate and just release all those
Yeah.
toxins and things like that.
I have thought about that and I
Yeah.
haven't pulled the trigger. So, when I was seeing a
Hmm.
therapist, not too long ago, she taught me about shaking the bones, and she was like, "Get some drumming,"
Mm.
like, and that's where I learned about that too.
Hmm.
Like, get this deep, like, vibration drumming, put on some noise
Hmm.
canceling headphones, and like shake your body to
Yep.
move these things out. And when I tell you, I mean, I'm
Hmm.
willing to try anything. Like, I'm not
Okay.
whatever. It's not like I'm doing it in the street, and I probably would now. I don't care,
I
but.
would. My
But
my neighbors know.
I I I remember like closing the door and going in my like little safe space that I have my little office at home and like, okay, hopefully nobody comes in here and tries to figure out what I'm doing. It was the weirdest thing, the weirdest sensations at first. And
Hmm.
then I started to feel like the first time I did it, I was like, okay, that was interesting, but I kept with it. I really tried to do it. And there's something about that just unlocked something. And then I was able to access like really deep sorrow that needed to come out that I didn't know was there. So
Hmm.
there's
Yeah.
something to be said for all this stuff. And I used to think it was so woo woo. And I know people, if it's not for you, it's not for you, but try. try
Hmm.
something, try something different, try
Try
another thing
everything.
that's different, try
Right,
everything.
exactly.
There's some things I don't love. And I'm like, it works for you, but great. It just doesn't work for me, you
Hmm.
know? Um,
Exactly. I
and so
mean,
I
tapping.
love that.
Have you done that?
Hmm.
Have you done the
Hmm.
EFT tapping?
Yeah.
See, I believe in movement, even when you're sitting still, right? So
Yep.
maybe I might be mentally drained from the day, even the tapping helps move the energy within me. So when you ask about what am I doing, those are some of the things. And I have a sanctuary room in my house where there's no electronics at all that I go to pray, meditate, and sometimes just be stretch. How, however, on the walls there are these like paper butterflies with initials on them. So those are initials of all my clients. So when
Oh,
I go in there, I'm trying to
release
just
them.
let
Yeah.
them, yeah, let them always be touched by, well, first of all, thanking them for being a part of their journey, but also so that I don't forget them. So even if I don't remember the initials, because now I mean, good Lord, I'm at 600 hours, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But, just that's something that's been part of my ritual with that.
Yeah. That's really beautiful because if we don't take care of ourselves and,
Hmm.
you've already experienced trauma and then
Hmm.
you've worked through your trauma, you're working through your trauma. We're always going to be, growing and growing.
Hmm.
But then now vicariously you are taking on other people's stories and holding space for
Sometimes.
them. And so
Yeah.
sometimes they sit with you probably longer than others. I feel like for me, I'm able to release some things fairly quickly,
Hmm.
like I've witnessed it and that's it. And other times it does take me really moving things through.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, transference and countertransference are real. Let's be real. Like you said, I came into this field because I know what it's like to be judged for being angry and nobody asking me why. So I'm certified in anger management. So you need your court papers, honey. You're gonna have the most fun and educational anger
yes.
management. What you will not get is judgment. That's just not gonna happen because I get it,
Yep.
right? Having these tools and skills is because I'm looking out for me, the other me,
Yeah.
the next me. And I mean, say what you want about it, it's just real. I never, how did I even get EMDR? Oh, remember when I told you that I was in the thick of it and I was pretty much making plans to be single and I just put my all into everything. I was just doing my own research. The VA told me nothing about this. I took my own money and I went and found, oh gosh, I went to support groups. I even went to a DBT group. I found EMDR and I paid cash, and it was the best thing I ever did
Yeah.
for my life.
Yeah. Yeah. It's an incredible tool. Um,
Hmm.
that again, just like everything doesn't work for everyone. It worked for me as well. But I had to
Hmm.
try, I've talked about this before, I think on a previous episode. I have had to try a couple of times. It wasn't the right fit the first time, or maybe I wasn't ready, but
All
um
the above. Yeah.
EMDR and ART also, both of those
Hmm.
things have helped me
And you had
significantly. And
IFS stuff too, right? From the
yeah,
from the
yeah.
from going
Yep.
to the
Save a Warrior
Save a
does a lot
Warrior.
of IFS.
Hmm.
That's internal family systems, and I'm working through that workbook now too. And I'm
Mm,
learning that those parts of me aren't bad. We all have
exactly.
those parts, and there is
Right.
a book
No bad
that
parts.
short no bad parts, and the first when I first started listening to that book, I was exposed to internal family systems a little bit. I was like, oh, okay, but now it just makes a lot more sense to me, and I'm really able to recognize which part's coming online and trying to protect me right now. Like this is actually not
Yeah,
me being a certain way. What's going on internally for me may not be what's actually presenting. And so
exactly.
it's just taken a long time to work through that. And part of even having this podcast and hearing other people's stories, I am learning so much from each person. Season one was just phenomenal. It's such a gift that people would even trust and be in this space with me. Like you said, you have this natural way of just being with people and bringing out, and you did that with me. Like you just naturally hey, what's going on? And we were on a teeter-totter. Remember that? We were on a
Yeah, I
teeter-totter.
think I have a video of us swinging, to be honest.
We were on a teeter-totter, and I was just like telling you all the things. I'm like, I haven't met this person before.
Yep. And
But
I'm like,
I
it's a
have
gift and a curse, right?
and I have found similar, like, sometimes people are telling me things and some really interesting things have occurred just through having this space created, because this space is not created for me, and it's not created
Mhm,
for necessarily even the witnesses or the listeners. I mean, it is, don't hear that the right way, but it's really for the person on the other end of this that maybe for the first time ever is telling their truth, and they're not being judged, and they're
mhm,
able to be witnessed and listened to, and hearing themselves say something out loud um, maybe just gives them just another layer of support for themselves to see that they already have everything inside them that they need, you know,
mhm.
to heal and to continue to heal. And
Yeah.
and to have somebody who's done the work like you have to come on and say, look, it was ugly, there were things that were happening. um, and the beautiful part of that is there's a knowing, and we don't have to give details. This isn't trauma porn, or we don't
Mhm.
have to say specifically, because we know, like, there's just a
Yeah.
knowing.
Mhm.
And
I
people
love
that are
that you said that.
looking for that sensationalism and for that type of content, this isn't going to be the platform for them, because
Mm-mm.
that's not what you're getting here. I hope that people are hearing how to be a better witness, and
Mhm.
how to take care of themselves in that witnessing, and how do you know you need a witness? Like,
Mhm.
can you talk about that for just a second? Like, how would you know if this is new to you and
Mhm.
you're not in the work, or you don't even know what the work is,
Yeah.
and you just stumbled across this conversation, you're like, what the hell are these
Mhm.
women talking about? How
All
and
right.
I was one of those at one time. So
No, no, no.
how do you wrap your head around starting something like this, a journey like this? How do you know you need these things?
Oh, well, if you're breathing, you need
Amen. For
people.
sure.
I'm gonna tell you right now. I
Yep.
listen. I know that part. That I don't need anybody. I don't need friends. Okay, the
Yep.
devil is a liar.
Yep.
It's here's the thing. We are not made to be completely alone. So
Yep.
yes, you are going to have to put some work into finding your tribe. Your tribe may have to be electronic until y'all get together. It is what it is. But that alone stuff is to me one of the most dangerous things, mindsets to be in, because that that way you are definitely just going to be within that hamster circle and just going to be telling you a whole bunch of stuff that's not true, right? Our feelings aren't always factual. It doesn't mean that they don't feel them. It's just, again, I'm about telling you about those prescriptions get changed. So being amongst others, storytelling, again, when I go back to just historical and cultural, that's how we used to help each other. Now, when I say storytelling, I'm not talking about for likes. I'm not
Yep.
talking about for book deals. I'm not talking about, for camera time. I'm talking about for validation, for, like you said, witnessing. And with that, I try my best to be mindful of asking people if I can share something before I do, because just to honor whatever they have been going through first. That's a big thing. Being that witness. I mean, because I will tell you right now, one of the number one ways to get me to cut my eyes at you is for me to ask a question and you start implying that I didn't do anything.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
All right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
She's still here, just so you know, right? She's still in
Mm-hmm.
me, right? Don't get it twisted.
Mm-hmm.
Please don't make her come to the front of the line, okay?
Yes.
Please don't talk to me like ask me first, right? Ask me, hey, are you familiar with this?
Mm-hmm.
Before I even go there. Um, Being a witness means also, like I said, asking permission. It's listening more than you speak. I will also say this in the name of being witnessed. As you heal, you are going to prune, right? Why do I say that? Because some people have chosen to stay where they are. That is their choice. So there's a big, 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 big significant difference between being in a group versus being in a support group. There's a reason why I also emphasize the whole thing about certified peer specialists because anybody can call themselves a peer specialist. Oh, you've had that, I've had that too. We peers. No, wait for it, because there's some training involved and some kind of references involved in earning that title, and it is sacred and it's important. So yeah, I will definitely watch for that. Watch for, do you want to be validated? And if so, for how long until that validation requirement changes to, all right, let's go for some growth. What do I do with this? That's the transilience.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing, I'm not going to sit here all day, every day, and keep repeating and stuff and not doing something about it. To each his own, but as you grow, you will find that some people are not going to make it to your next chapter.
Yeah. And that's really hard. Um, yeah, I feel that. I feel that.
I mean, you love them,
Yep.
and you look. That's why whenever I'm talking about healing, I would go like kind of in a circle. I'm like, look, you might be here, and your
Yep.
friend is over here. It's okay. It's
Yep.
all right. There are some times you link up, and then there's sometimes y'all just rotating around each other. You still
Yeah.
love them, however, they're gonna bring you backwards.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's
Uh-uh.
there's some things that have to be brought to the light when you are doing a healing journey and you start to realize like, oh, I've been enabling and I've been doing some things too. Like you have to own your dysfunctional parts too that have said like, I've been rescuing. I've been
Mm-hmm.
inserting myself where I shouldn't have. So now I've taken on I can speak for myself like I've taken
Mm-hmm.
on this person's problems in the name of I think I'm witnessing them and really
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to fix them and trying to
That right
rescue
there.
and that to me now that I'm aware of that I can
Mm-hmm.
look retrospectively and go, "Oh gosh, that's
Listen,
embarrassing."
you are hitting
But
it. Yeah.
but
When you
going
said in the
forward,
beginning
I
of
can
the
just
of
do
the
better.
right, exactly.
Yeah,
When you
that's
said
all.
in
I
the
can't change
beginning
it.
of exactly, you can't change it. When you said in the beginning of the podcast, you mentioned about how people get into this field, and a lot of them are dealing with stuff too. Here's an issue though. This is what I'm learning just from observing. Not everybody is dealing with their own issues. Some people are in the field to fix others, to distract
Mhm.
from working on themselves. And there is a big, I see a big issue with that. Now, am I
Yeah.
perfect? Absolutely not. However, I will tell you in a heartbeat, Ayana Brown goes to therapy.
Yeah. Yeah.
And will, especially when my mom passed. Oh, guess what? Guess what? Do. Hey,
Mhm.
your girl, it hasn't hit me yet, but it's coming. I need to do my preventative maintenance. I need to
Yeah.
check in ever so often.
Yeah.
Et cetera, et cetera. If I'm dealing with a victim that really kind of touches my soul, up, do, you girl. I want to make sure that I'm squeezing out this sponge so it doesn't turn to mold up in me.
Yeah. That's a great
Because
way to say
and
that.
I'm bringing this things. I'm big on metaphors, right?
I
You
love it.
know,
I'm a very visual person. That's how I remember things and I'm
exactly.
not going to forget that.
Squeeze out
I'm
that
not going to
sponge,
forget
right?
that.
Because I'm a sponge.
Yeah.
I sponge,
Yeah.
right? And I mean that's part of what I do. However, I had to get that out. So I mean, I know I pay attention to stuff like that, and I when I do talk to friends who ask me about what do I look for in a therapist, I would always ask what do you do for your mental health? Because if they get
Oh,
offended,
that's a loaded question. And if they do get offended, I think I would just save myself the rest of my time and leave.
I'm just
Because,
saying. I'm just
yeah,
saying.
yeah,
I'm not gonna tell you what to do. I'm just saying it's a food for thought. That's all I'm just gonna leave it
yeah,
there.
yeah.
Because I've seen it. I've seen it in school. I've seen it in other places, and I'm like, oh my goodness, this is
Mm-hmm.
scary sometimes. So yeah, understand that we're human, and understand that you have choices, and understand that you can ask for things. See, this is not my peer specialist part. See, that's a big part
Come
that
on.
is I
Yep.
have a hard time with. Because as a counselor, I'm not supposed to say this. On my peer specialist side, they look at here. You can ask for
Yeah,
for
yeah.
another. You can ask for a female if you want a female. If you want to ask for a black female, you can ask for a black female. It is what it is. You do what you have to do for you, period.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Keep learning about these different modalities. I would say one thing I did when my son was growing, my youngest, I have a binder full of every doctor we went to, every medication we tried, and I wrote the side effects. Do that. Ask your therapist, what modality are we doing? So you know
Yeah.
if this works for you or not. So you know, like, last time I did CBT, it didn't really. Are you a CBT therapist or do you use ask? You can ask those questions, y'all. You are be an informed consumer for your health. It's worth it
Yeah.
because that's why people say I've been to therapy and it didn't work.
Yeah.
Okay, what kind of therapy did you go through?
Yeah. And how many times did I go? I mean, I had to be honest with myself too. Like I would say, I've tried this and I've tried that.
Hmm.
And if I'm being honest, I tried it once, like I didn't really give it. And it wasn't until things got so
Exactly.
I had to suffer enough. I wasn't done suffering. I wasn't done
Yes.
suffering. I didn't suffer
Ooh.
enough that I was ready to say I'm done. And so
Hmm.
once that decision was made, doesn't mean that the pain didn't go away and I still didn't have to deal with
Mm-mm.
the things, but I chose to not be a victim to that suffering. And
Hmm.
you could say, I'm not a victim of my sexual assaults. I'm not a victim. And I could say those things because
Hmm.
I wanted to believe them. So I'm like, I'm saying this, I'm saying I'm not a victim, but my behavior and my mentality still, I was still
Exactly.
very much suffering with that. Um, and so then hearing other people's story and realizing like, oh, they are, they are growing and they like this didn't, this hasn't killed them. Like now I can see when I witness someone, I don't have this compulsion to like rescue them anymore because I've done
Hmm.
my own work. And I can say that I've tried to help others in the past. I think a lot of people could say this. Like, I think in the name of helping, but helping
Hmm.
really isn't helping, but we don't know that. It's not intentional. I
Right.
am distracting from my own garbage that I don't want to deal
There
with.
you
So if
go.
I can tell you how this
Hmm.
will help you and this will help you. And if you just did what I said, you wouldn't have these problems.
Hmm.
Like that's just
Yep.
such a victim cycle and the
Hmm.
drama triangle that I have stepped off of and refuse
Yeah.
to do any longer. But when those parts of me do come up, I have to acknowledge them. Because listen,
Hmm.
what we don't transform will transfer. And I cannot afford
Mm.
for that to go any more generations past me. Like it's from
Oh,
behind me. And you know
listen.
about that. Like
Yes, I
generational
do.
trauma that adds on to what our mothers experience, what our grandmothers experience,
Hmm.
the sexual trauma that has come down,
Yeah.
um and even some of our
And other
fathers.
traumas, right?
Yes,
And
yes.
other
So
traumas, Val, right?
mhm,
The
mhm,
epigenesis is real. Like our
yep.
brains are linked to the traumas from before us.
Gosh,
So
we could have
yes,
a whole nother episode about that.
okay.
Yeah,
Because I do a
yeah,
lot of brain stuff. So this is my
yes, it's
jam right here,
fascinating.
learning about this. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
We
it's
are, especially as women in this country, women's suffrage and all this stuff, all this is still within us, y'all.
yeah. And that's why these things have to move through, and that's why I talk a lot about taking care of your nervous system. And listen, I'm a
Hmm.
consumer of these products. I'm a consumer of this uh, getting knowledge from other people. Like I am not a professional and I am not an expert. I just know what I have learned and what I have experienced personally. And
Yeah,
until my nervous system was witnessed and had was able to feel safe, I was never going to access that stuff and never going to be able
absolutely.
to let it go. And
I
being
like you. I
able
love that you said that.
being able to do that has been the gift that is going to continue to give to myself and all the other versions of myself. I can't remember. I think it's Emery Hall. She has a song called, I think it's 10,000 Women or something like that. But all of
Mm,
the 10,000 women that I've been before um,
wow.
has led me to here. And like I can see them as sacred now. Like that version of me 5 years ago, that version of me at 8 years old, that version of me,
Hmm.
all of those versions that I couldn't get in touch with, um, that I was constantly trying to bury are allowed, they were allowed to exist. And now they can be seen, even though they're not here physically present with me. Those parts of me are still there and
Hmm.
still needed attention and still needed to be witnessed. And so choosing not to suffer and unlocking all of that didn't happen overnight. And I guess I'm saying this just to say, like, it's a process. This is a
Hmm.
process. You don't just suddenly stop suffering. Like you have
Mm-mm.
to really dig into these things and have these conversations, which to me are invigorating now. I
Yeah.
could I couldn't have
Yeah.
held a conversation like this 5 years ago.
That right there.
I didn't
A
have the capacity.
timing.
Yeah.
Exactly
Yeah.
that. That's the thing. Like you said, is it the modality, maybe how you link up with the counselor, but also are you ready? So when you talk about that nervous system, I'm so glad that you mentioned that because I had people say, okay, I want EMDR. Well, guess what? We can't get into the processing if you are always on 10,
Mm-hmm.
right? Or if you feel like you need a substance to be able to sleep every night, your nervous system is not going to allow any of this to happen in a safe way. So then you want to get mad at me when I'm trying to keep you safe. So did it really
Man.
not work? Or were you
Did
not
you visit
working
my
with it?
therapist and she tell you what I said? Because that was
No.
me. I was like, I want to do this, but I'm like taking all the clonazepam in the world to go to sleep every night. She's like, you can't get to that way. And I'm like, well, I can't sleep. So too bad. It's just like, man,
Just
I was a pain
bypass
in the
it. I'm
ass.
like, look,
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, if
It
I
took
didn't
some work.
care, if
Right.
I didn't
Right.
care, sure, I'll do that. But I care. So how about we not do that? And
Yeah.
oh man, it's something. But like you
Man.
said, it's you know what? Have you ever seen the videos, the nature films when they're showing like, the caterpillar turning to the
Yeah.
butterfly and they get all
Yeah.
the cocoon and all that stuff? This is other video that I show in my groups, and it's like we kind of emphasize what's going on in that cocoon. And did you know that the caterpillar turns to goo,
Yes. That's so gross, but
isn't
it's
it?
very, 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 very fitting
Yeah, and
through that
symbolic, I
process.
think.
Yeah.
Right. See, we go in there thinking it's just a change of clothes and a change of attitude. No, baby, you're gonna break down. Just a breakdown
Oh
before the breakthrough.
gosh.
And
Yeah.
it's ugly. And can you imagine being a caterpillar and your leg just fall off and start melting? Like, what is happening? Like, I didn't sign up for this, but guess what? It's part of the process. It's
Yeah.
gonna need to happen. It's gonna be ugly and not but and it's necessary and it's just gonna be great. So scars and all, I might be a butterfly with some scars, but I'm flying.
Yeah. And to piggyback on
And
that, I've heard that metaphor too. When someone tries to pick away that cocoon to help you,
mm, got
that
it.
doesn't help you. And you can see why, because the goo is not ready to come out.
Exactly.
And so now you've just injured even further. And I can admit that I have done that and I have been on the receiving
Hmm.
end of that. And those are just things that come with knowledge and awareness and growing. So, man, this conversation has just invigorated my soul. I love talking about this stuff and I love you and I just am so
Oh,
grateful
thank you.
and I just really appreciate you coming on and dropping some wisdom. I told you guys that she would. And so here we are. Um do you have any last closing remarks or anything you'd like people to know before you lead us out in a release exercise?
I would like people to know that they are worth all the trouble. Their future self is going to thank them for all this trouble now and celebrate being wrong,
Mm,
especially about people. It's a fantastic feeling like, oh, I was wrong. Guess what that means? I get to try something else because I don't know everything. And that is awesome.
that is so awesome.
I really, really enjoy that. Also, let me just say this too. Not all therapies, you mentioned it earlier, not all therapies require you to share all the details of your
That's right.
trauma.
That's right.
I've just learned the EMDR flash technique. I love it. My clients love it. It is fantastic. We get
It's really
to
good.
talk about really cool stuff while we're processing, and it is just the joy of the brain healing itself once you have somebody who knows how to help you get there.
Yeah.
So
The
y'all,
brain
you
is
have
so fascinating.
options. It is amazing. That neuroplasticity,
Hmm.
amazing. Get those new pathways. So I am actually going to be sharing one of the grounding exercises that I do use quite a bit when I am helping people prepare for EMDR. Have you ever heard of the four elements?
I don't think so.
Ah, good. Okay, so if if you're around my age, you might remember Captain Planet, or if you're younger
Oh
than my
yeah.
age,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
um, right? Or even Avatar, right? Think about the four elements of the earth, right?
Oh, gotcha. Okay, yeah, yeah.
So what you could actually do before we start this is I'm gonna give everybody who's listening about 30 seconds to just think about something that mildly disturbs you. Maybe on a scale from 1 to 10, with 10 being chaos and apocalypse, to 0 being furry kitties and puppies, something like a 3 or below. Mild disturbance. Give me a thumbs up when you got one, Val. All right, let's go. So all we're going to do is we're going to go and, of course, sitting comfortably, as comfortably as you can. What I want you to do is ground. So we're going to talk about the earth. So when we think about the earth, we think about grounding and safety in the present moment. So take a minute to land and be here now. Notice your breath. Notice the rise and fall of your chest, maybe your stomach. If you're able to, place both feet on the ground. Press down on the ground or wherever your feet are and wiggle your toes. Notice the earth supporting you. Now we're going to go to air. If you are able to, place one hand on your chest and the other over your belly button. We're going to inhale through our stomach for a count of 3 in our mind. Let it inflate your stomach, allowing your chest to remain still. And when you exhale, let's exhale through your mouth. You can do an audible sigh to a count of 5 in your mind. I'll go ahead and count it in. So inhale, 2, 3. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. One more time. Inhale, 2, 3. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just notice that air available to you as you breathe in and out. Now for water. So swallowing switches on the relaxation response, that part of the nervous system. So you actually have a few options here. You can take a drink of water. You can massage the sides of your mouth, the salivary glands, and just notice how your body makes saliva and notice how that feels in your mouth. Or you can even right now just think of what happens when you suck on a lemon and notice what happens in your mouth. This switches on that relaxation and digestion response. It just slow you down and help you ground because our bodies are mostly made of water. Finally, we're going to go to fire. So if you are able, rub your hands together to create some heat. Place your warmed hands on your arms or your face to feel the fire that your body can create at any time. Also put it on your neck if you want. Just notice those warmth. Notice all the amazing things that your body can do. As we release with a nice deep big breath in and out. And we're done.
Thank you for that. That was lovely.
You're welcome.
That was lovely. You are a gift to the witnesses. You are a gift to me. You are a gift to humanity. You are a gift to your ancestors. You are a gift to your. Ugh, I'm just so
Appreciate you.
thankful. I am so thankful. I could just go on and on, but I won't. Thank you. Thank you so much for being here. I'm just invigorated by this conversation, and I cannot wait for our witnesses to hear it. Thank you. Thank you so much.
I appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you for being here. If this conversation brought up difficult feelings, please take care of yourself in whatever way you need. I welcome you to carry forward what feels steady and release what isn't yours to hold. If additional support would feel helpful, consider reaching out to a trusted friend, a professional, or a resource in your community. Healing is not a straight line, and you do not have to journey this alone. If this space has been meaningful for you, you're welcome to reach out. And if listening quietly is what you need right now, that's enough. You're right where you're supposed to be. Thank you for witnessing with me today. And until next time, remember that you are loved and worthy of being witnessed.